All right, hello there. Welcome back to another We've Been Over video. On to week 12, fantasy football, stardom, situm, rankings, whatever you want to call these videos. I don't really care. The point is we're going to identify who to start and who to not start. If you haven't seen these videos before, which I say this in every video since who knows what week, how we do it is really simple. Everyone ranked in the top 20 from running backs and receivers, because this is a running backs and receivers video, as you see in the title. We do not rank the top 20. We know who our stars are. I'm not going to tell you to sit or bench Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to tell you to sit or bench Jonathan Taylor. You know, you're going to start him. It doesn't matter what I say. But it's 21 and below where it gets a little more tricky. Now, for some of y'all that got God Squads, for some of y'all that do daily fantasy, at the very end of the rankings between running backs after 40, I will do the best three, my three favorite of the week for 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, 31 through 40. And for receivers, it goes 41 through 50 on top of everything else. So yeah, I feel like I covered all my bases. That makes sense. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. A lot of talking. Going straight to 21, Antonio Gibson. To be blunt, Antonio Gibson's a weird one because he definitely looks like the flashier back than Brian Robinson, but clearly they don't value him in the same in terms of just running downhill, which makes sense because Brian Robinson's, you know, a much stronger, more powerful back. But every time Brian Robinson runs the ball, I swear it feels like he's getting 1 to 2 yards, 3 yards on a good run. So it's pretty wild. But he is the pass catching back. So on PPR, 100% start, half PPR, a little less as good of a start, but I would say a strong start, especially against Atlanta's D, which is just abysmal. Jamal Williams just came off a 3-touchdown game. I do not expect that to continue against Buffalo. I would say a low-end flex who is beyond touchdown dependent. Nothing needs to be said more than that. Miles Sanders, as you can see, is very touchdown dependent. He doesn't catch the ball enough to be relevant if he's not getting touchdowns. So if he gets touchdowns, great. If he doesn't, damn. Green Bay's defense is not exceptional at stopping the run game, and they're not exceptional at stopping the pass. So I can see Philly having their way in both the ground and in the air. Problem is that even if they do well on the ground, Jalen Hurts could always steal a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell can. Boston Scott can. Not that he hasn't, but he can. So it's one of those starts where it's like, oh man, Miles, please get a touchdown. David Montgomery. Anyway, with what I was saying, I would bench David Montgomery. I think New York's defense is a little too good. Obviously, if Justin Fields is healthy, it makes it more appealing to start because he makes that offense rolling. He just gets it rolling. He's been playing so well past 5-6 games. But the point is, New York is just too good of a defensive team, and with the benching of Zach Wilson, even if their offense is a tad bit better, that does not help David Montgomery because that's a tad bit longer that they will be on the field, and David Montgomery will be off the field. So going on to Samaje Perine, I think Tennessee's run defense is too elite to expect anything on the ground. If he does anything, it's going to be through the air. And if you feel like this is the week that Ja'Marr Chase comes back, I could see it being an appealing start. But aside from that, I would say low-end flex at the most, who you're going to really want to see get a touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco. Clyde just got put on IR, but that didn't really matter because Clyde wasn't getting any run anyway. Really, it just comes down to how much are they going to feed him and how much will he play compared to Jerick McKinnon. And you can pretty much lock it in that the Chiefs should win against the Rams, you know, barring some massive surprise. But I would say Pacheco's a low-end flex at the most, just because hasn't gotten any touchdowns, I believe. I don't think he's gotten one. And, you know, touchdowns are kind of a big deal. Rachaad White against Cleveland, I think that's a pretty solid start. I would say expect nothing more than like 13, 14 points. But if Lenny's out, then obviously that opens the door way more. I don't believe Leonard Fournette will be out, though. I guess we'll see in the upcoming week as practice goes on for them. Rachaad White, though, I think is a pretty decent flex play, but again, would be a major contributor if Fournette is out. Michael Carter, with the Jets, making that change, I don't think there's anything they could do that could make it worse than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is one of the worst quarterbacks I've seen in a very long time. Absolutely abysmal. And obviously, if you're not taking accountability, you just need to bench him for the locker room and for everyone to understand that, hey, we have a standard here. We need to do certain things right. And if you don't own up to it, then you're going to get benched. And no matter who you are, you need to get benched. So I personally think Zach Wilson had to get benched. Had he took accountability after the game and said, yes, I let my guys down and I need to be better, sure, whatever. Play him as bad as he is, you play him because of where you drafted him. But if he's not even going to give you that much, bench him, and the Jets offense will be better for it. I think you wait and see how much better they'll be without him, but still, they'll be better for it. Leonard Fournette, with Rachaad White taking over and just being the better player, I would actually sit him down. Ezekiel Elliott will be extremely touchdown dependent, but he will probably get a touchdown. Like if you go to a sports book and look at Zeke's touchdown, I'd be surprised if it was ever in plus, meaning if he was ever predicted not to get one. He's always going to be in the minus, meaning he's more often than not probably going to get a touchdown. So I would say Zeke's a pretty decent flex play. Kenyon Drake, if Gus Edwards is in but limited, maybe you can get away with the Kenyon Drake start. I skipped Cordell Patterson. I would say you just start because he's so explosive, and I don't think you have anything to lose putting him in your flex for a player that can blow up to an extent that most other flex players can't. If you're a team that you just need steady points, maybe you should step away. But if you're a team wanting to blow up, I would definitely see Cordell Patterson as a nice flex play. Donta Foreman against Denver D, nothing needs to be said. Bench. Nothing needs to be said. Brian Robinson is extremely touchdown dependent. If you think he's going to do it against Atlanta, I mean, fair game. It's just not an ideal situation to be in if you're hoping for him to do something, because probably won't. So I personally would bench. DeAndre Swift, if he plays, he's great. If he doesn't, he's terrible. And he hasn't been playing, so he's been not so great. He's been getting touchdowns because he is so explosive and so good with the ball in his hands. And last week, they actually just kind of force-fed him that touchdown. He had opportunities. But the point is, DeAndre Swift, probably nothing crazy. Flex play at the most. I would start just because he's so favorable to get a touchdown, it feels like. But, man, it's been rough. Damian Harris, I'm going to bench. I just don't see him doing a whole lot. Ramondre being there is just, it just feels like he's a clear-cut better back 10 out of 10 times. Like, it just doesn't matter. So, maybe he can get some yardage, maybe he can get a touchdown, but I would bench him. Raheem Mostert is actually a decent flex play. I know that Jeff Wilson definitely outsnapped him and looked like the better player, but Mostert still got a lot of love and still did the most with his limited opportunities. Elijah Mitchell looks really solid. I said it last week, but I think he's still a decent flex play. He just looks really good and healthy back there. Got a lot of second half carries and did what he was supposed to do. James Robinson against Chicago. I'd say he's a super desperation flex play, just because of the Zach Wilson change could open things up in every facet, in every imaginable way possible for that offense. Gus Edwards at bench until further notice. You don't know if he's limited or not, so it's an iffy play. It's definitely a dangerous play. So scrolling all the way down, Austin Eckler, against Arizona. Our top three is going to be... Sorry, I was thinking to myself for a second there. Our top three will be Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, hot take, Jeff Wilson Jr. Those are my top three. I think Jeff Wilson's going to have a week this week. 11 through 20, we are going to go Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, and and James Conner against the Chargers. Okay, 21 through 30. Oh, I guess I should explain a little bit why I think that. I don't want to just completely ignore him, but the reason why I got Austin Eckler 1 is same reason as a score. Pass catching guy time and time again, touchdown guy time and time again. Arizona's D just got blown up by the Niners, and I don't think they are going to make a change. This season's a lost season. Arizona, sorry. Going to Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's just been really great, and Las Vegas has not been really great. It just makes sense to slot a guy in on a Seahawks team that obviously has been explosive, but Kenneth Walker, majority of the time, the ball's in his hands. He's looked amazing. And matchups are very important. Playing against Las Vegas is lovely. And Jeff Wilson Jr. playing against Houston. I know they just limited Brian Robinson, but that doesn't say a whole lot. They've been getting blown up by everyone all season, and Jeff Wilson looked phenomenal against, but before the bye, who did they play? Was it the Bears? Did they play the Bears? I think they played the Bears. Yeah, regardless, he looks phenomenal. 11 through 20. Tony Pollard has just been so great. If you've been watching, you'll understand why I'm even naming him. James Conner, as bad as Arizona has been, period, he's still going to get his, especially with Kyler Murray back. Definitely looking like a touchdown kind of week for James Conner. And Ramondre Stevenson is just good. Like, he just passes the eye test with flying colors time and time again, and he catches the ball out of the backfield. 21 through 30, we are going to go. This is a rough one. This is actually rough. Okay, we're going to go Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, and Ezekiel Elliott. I'm putting Ezekiel Elliott here because I'm beyond confident he's going to get a touchdown this week. I'm saying Antonio Gibson because the volume is going to be there against a bad defense. Probably going to get a lot of catches out of the backfield. And then I would say Miles Sanders strictly because been dry for 2 weeks now. I don't think that increases. I think the Eagles will definitely get him a touchdown this week. 31 through 40, Cordell Patterson for explosiveness. He could explode. It's very possible. Could be a game of 2 touchdowns. Could be a game of just him bringing a long one home. Then I would say, man, I'm going to give y'all 2 because I can't give 3 and be like, we'll see DeAndre Swift again because it just feels like every time he touches the ball, he's super explosive. I'm not entirely confident in him, but, I would say it's a pretty decent flex play. Now, moving on to receivers, which is the much easier thing to rank. So much easier. My goodness. Moving down over here. So we're going to go straight to 21. Keenan Allen. Start. Dude, it's freaking Keenan Allen. I don't even need to give a big explanation. You have to start Keenan Allen. It's kind of surprising he's not in the top 20. I mean, Arizona's D, again, just got blown up. Like, that's probably going to continue with their season being lost. Michael Pittman Jr., I would say a volume-based receiver 3. As long as the volume's there, he's going to put up because such a big frame, easy for him to make some plays. And with Matt Ryan there, that definitely helps compared to having Sam, whatever his name was, who was just not good. Devonta Smith, I'm going to bench. It's just, he's just mad and consistent. And someone who you want to depend on is ranked 23. Like, sorry. I don't want to focus too much on the rankings. It's not the whole point of the video. But the point is that he's been mad and consistent. And I would not think of him as anything more than a flex play. And I think his name and what he can do is what makes people want to start him. But the numbers have not been backing him. Courtland Sutton's going to get a lot of opportunity if Jerry Jeudy still remains out. And I will say that the volume's there. And time and time again, the ball's getting thrown at him. So as bad as the Broncos offense has been, I would definitely say Courtland Sutton's a nice receiver 3 play this week. Brandon Ayuk just came off a game with 2 touchdowns, even if he only had 2 catches. Continue to start him. Brandon Ayuk has been having a really solid season, period. No reason to stop that now. Allen Lazard against Philly had a lot of looks that Thursday night game. Well, it was Thursday night, right? Yeah, they played Tennessee. Yeah, honestly, Allen Lazard, I would say start him. Had a lot of looks. Missed connections. Aaron Rodgers missing him on some plays. Allen Lazard making some mental errors. It's fine. He's going to get volume. Continue to start him. George Pickens, I would say continue to start as well. Like, are all these guys going to produce? No, but they're giving you something that's very consistent and that you want, which is volume and opportunity. As long as you get guys on the field and you're starting them that are getting opportunity, as a manager, as a fantasy football manager, you couldn't have done better because you're giving yourself a chance, just like their coaches are giving their players a chance. Volume is key. get guys like that out there. Joshua Palmer is going to be a risky start. If Mike Williams comes back and Keenan Allen is still there, because Justin Herbert is really good at getting guys going, and it could be any guy any week, whether it's DeAndre Carter getting, a long bomb, Joshua Palmer obviously having 2 touchdowns this past game, but he's going to feed Keenan, he's going to feed Mike, or he should feed Mike, and if Gerald Everett is back, he could also steal some targets, and then Austin Eckler obviously is going to steal targets, so riskier start, who's capable of blowing up. Jakobi Meyers, low end flex play. He'll get probably like around 4 or 5 catches. Tyler Boyd is a risk, depending on if you guys think it's going to be a shit or not. What I would do is that I would consider him a low end flex. I would try to bench him if I can. He is going to be the number 2 target for Joe Burrow, but yeah, against Tennessee D, iffy because they won't be able to get any run game going against them. Christian Watson. One thing that I want to very, very, very much clarify for anyone that watched that Thursday night game. Christian Watson, I know I talked about this with Brandon Ayuk, right? Because Brandon Ayuk, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. But Christian Watson is a very risky start. Very risky start. That 4 catches for 40-some yards, I think 2 catches he got in garbage time, and the 2 touchdowns he got were, one was off an offsides play that Aaron Rodgers just kind of made some magic happen. Obviously, Christian Watson still had to go up and get the ball. And the other one, what was it? I forgot the entire play. But for the most of the game, he wasn't involved at all. And obviously come red zone time, he was. But it makes it for he's going to be prone to dropping the ball on games. And so I'm going to say this right now. If you want to continue to roll him out, do so at your own caution. Because he could very much flop really, really hard if he doesn't get at least a touchdown. And he got 5 in 4 games. Philly's going to recognize that. 5 in 2 games. Philly's going to recognize that and probably be covering that. I'm a little concerned for Christian Watson starts. I would bench him this week. That's just my opinion. Garrett Wilson, I would start this week. Zach Wilson being out. Free the receivers. Garrett Wilson obviously being the favorite out of that receiving core. So Garrett Wilson, no matter who starts this week, I'm starting Garrett Wilson for sure. Because obviously Zach Wilson's not starting. Darius Slayton, I would say bench. Dallas D is just phenomenal on all standards, and it's going to be a run game fiesta for the Giants in order for them to try and win the game. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm going to bench. Tampa's D is really, really good. I'm not dealing with that. Anyway, what I was saying was Curtis Samuel's not a bad flex, but obviously contains some serious risk. Could do something this week against an Atlanta defense that's really prone to just allowing their opposing teams to do whatever they want. Deontay Johnson's a risky play just because what Deontay Johnson does best is short catches and run after the catch. He's a phenomenal player, like amazing. And it just feels like it's hard for him to get those plays because they're not really creating that for him. He's getting maybe 4 or 5 catches a game, 40, 50 yards a game. So definitely a flex play, but just a player who hasn't been able to blow up. DJ Moore against Denver, I'm benching. No shot. Drake London, Washington, I'm going to bench. I know Drake London I'm pretty sure recently had a good game. Maybe I could be wrong, but regardless, yeah, it's just, I don't trust anyone in Atlanta. Cordell Patterson could blow up, but other than that, I'd definitely be good. Treylon Burks had a phenomenal game against the Packers. Do I expect to continue? Probably not, because Tennessee throwing the ball just has not been a thing that's been going on since Ryan Tannehill's been there. Like, yeah, the occasional receiver will have a blowout game, but it just hasn't been consistent at all. Hollywood Brown, obviously, if he does play and he's not limited, you start him. You get him rolling and ready to go. If he doesn't, if he's limited, I would probably lean towards benching just because Kyler Murray hasn't done jack crap this season to show you otherwise, especially with DeAndre Hopkins there sucking on all the targets because he's a beast. Yeah, it just depends on whether or not he's limited. Paris Campbell, I've been saying it. I've been saying this. He's been playing very well for what you need him to do. He just got 5 catches, 67 yards. In PPR, that's 11 points. That's a solid flex. If you need a flex play, and especially if you're in PPR, Paris Campbell is a phenomenal flex-worthy player. And I said it last week, and he did what he was supposed to do. Got you 11 points. As a flex play, that's what you need. Like, you just don't need someone to screw you over. Just do enough. Just do enough. Let your stars be your stars and your flexes again. Just do enough. Don't let me down. So Paris Campbell, I think, is another solid play this week. I know he's against Pittsburgh D, but I would 100% fire him up if you can. Brandon Cooks, I'm benching. I don't want no part of Houston's offense unless you're Damian Pierce. Seriously. Adam Thielen benching against New England D. New England D is just too raw. Chicago, I want no piece of Sauce Gardner. Darnell, sorry, you're going to have to get benched. Allen Robinson, I think is a decent flex play this week. I know that they'd be starting Perkins or whatever his name is, but he's the only receiver there. So yeah, he just came off 4 catches, 40-some yards, and a touchdown. Probably expect some similar stat line, maybe 5 catches, 60 yards, no touchdown. I don't know. You can expect around 10 points in PPR, so pretty decent flex play. Nico Collins, Demarcus Robinson, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Michael Gallup, and Zay Jones. I'm going to say them all at the same time. Bench, hell nah. I mean, you can make a case for Marquez because if Juju's still out, Kadarius Toney is now out, and McCole Hardman's on IR, so you can make a case for Marquez. I understand it. It's risky, but everything else, no, bench on all the other names. Now let's name our favorite 3 from 1 through 10, and so on and so forth. So we're going to say right now Tyreek Hill. Then we're going to go Davante Adams. And then we're going to do... You have to do Stephon Diggs. It's against Detroit, right? No, okay, so we're going to do DeAndre Hopkins, Davante Adams, and Tyreek Hill. Davante Adams. The reason why I'm not saying Justin Jefferson, period, though, is because New England is great at slowing down opposing offenses, especially their star players. Detroit has actually been doing a lot better defensively in recent games. Tyreek Hill's gonna... Houston's D is bad. Tyreek Hill, obviously, get him rolling, just ready to go. Davante Adams on fire. Seattle's D isn't great. They're not bad, but they're not great enough to stop opposing star players. And Davante Adams has been on fire, so keep that going. And Hopkins is just a receptions machine, gonna get his no matter who he plays. And Chargers are very, very much a disappointing defense coming into the season, from their expectations at least. 11 through 20, we're gonna go. This is a tough one. We're gonna go Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, and we're gonna go Debo. Saints D hasn't been all that lately. Debo, I think Niners realize he's just too good. We got to get him more active and more involved. So he definitely got more involved the past game against Arizona, and I think he'll get more opportunity here against the not so great New Orleans defense. Also, Terry McLaurin has just been on fire, doing the most. I actually don't recall how much he put up last game, but I know he's been on a roll, and Atlanta's D is very bad. So continue that. And then Mike Evans against a Cleveland D that is beyond suspect. Continue to please feed that man, because even if you have Denzel Ward on him, Mike Evans is just too big. So easy target for Tom. They've had I believe they just had their bye, so yeah, they've had some time to think things over and get things right. Yeah, I'd start Mike Evans. Keenan Allen 1. Interesting. Keenan Allen 1. Allen Lazard 2. And Michael Pittman 3. Keenan Allen is just too good. If he's healthy, you always got to start him. He's an elite receiver. Michael Pittman is going to get volume time and time again. At the very least, he won't drop the ball for as long as Matt Ryan's starting in this newfound offense that they have. And Allen Lazard, because Aaron Rodgers always looks his way all the freaking time. So please, if you can, continue to start Allen Lazard. 31 through 40, Garrett Wilson. Deontay Johnson, and Hollywood Brown if healthy. If he's limited, again, it's hard to advise otherwise to start him, but definitely try to get your hands on starting Garrett Wilson this week, because he will be getting a lot of receptions again, Zach Wilson's benched, so he will be getting receptions this week. He will be getting opportunity for run after the catch, and he's proved time and time again that he can do it if given the opportunity, and he's going to get that this week. So look forward to that. What was I saying before? Hollywood Brown, yeah, and Deontay Johnson, just because he's going to give you a steady floor still. Deontay's always going to give you that. He's just too good of a receiver. You know, if with volume he could do more, but it is what it is situation now. At the very least, you know, you can probably expect around 10 to 14 points of PPR this week. 14 points would be a good day, though, to be honest. And then Marquise, again, if healthy, he's just a good player, period. And from 41 through 50, we're going to go Paris Campbell and Robinson back-to-back weeks. I'm actually happy with that. I'm going to leave it at 2 from 41 to 50 because every other name is beyond suspect, and I don't want to do that to y'all. I ain't gonna give that out. So, yeah, Paris Campbell, I said time and time again, start him. Good flex playing PPR. Phenomenal flex playing PPR. Allen Robinson, again, he's like one of the only guys there, so you don't have much of a choice. Anyway, that is the week. That is the rankings. That is the stardom sit-em for week 12. Wide receivers and running backs. If you guys have any questions, comment down in the comment section below. Appreciate y'all for watching. As always, this is Always Been Different, and we out.